And welcome back to Music Free Static. I hope you're having a fabulous day. And today I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about some Minecraft, but I was inspired a little bit by a podcast. It was actually the Spawn Chunks podcast, episode 294, which aired, well, this week as I'm recording it, but last week as you're listening to it, it's one of those things, right? Time is a fun thing. And it's that time I actually want to talk about because they were starting to talk about the differences between efficiency versus the process, or the goal versus the journey in Minecraft, right? So the basic premise is that it's easy to get bored in Minecraft if you're always playing it the same way, I guess maybe is how I want to put it. One of the comments that was in the podcast is that, Minecraft is boring because it's a solved problem, right? We kind of, as a community, know the best ways of doing things, right? You can look to the speedrunner community and say, okay, you do this, this, and this. You can get to the dragon on day 4. Here's how you kill it, and boom, you're done. Yay! But if you keep doing it the same way, right, it gets boring because it gets repetitive. So I was starting to think about this a little bit. I was wondering, first, a couple of things, that what leads to this type of problem, I guess, or is it? No, that's a good way of putting it. What leads to this sort of problem? Why is Minecraft solved, and why is that a problem? Okay. Now, my first question, I was sort of wondering, is YouTube, or YouTube culture, not YouTube as a company, but YouTube culture, part of the problem? Right? Because you always see YouTube videos that's like, oh yes, here's my iron farm, and it dumps out 80 trillion iron an hour or whatever, right? Here's my copper farm, and it does 18 trillion copper an hour. And so you get these your typical Minecrafter says, oh, I want to build a copper farm. And they jump onto YouTube and they search, all right, give me a copper farm. And because these farms are impressive and they do a lot, it's like, okay, I'll build that one. And what you end up with is everyone building the same farms, or you individually building the same farm over and over again, right? ENX04's raid farm is a perfect example of it. And yes, I'm guilty. I built that in Tinkerworld a couple of weeks ago. Fair. Okay. But when it was first debuted and the concept of stacking raid farms was new, man, everywhere you looked, somebody was building ENX04's raid farm. Now, it was a great farm. There are farms out there now that are faster, but it's really simple to build, right? And you see the same thing like shulker farms. It's always one of ending credits shulker farms, right? You can tell, oh, yep, that's where that came from, because everyone was building them. Why? Because ending credits farms are very simple and they work really well. So, and then of course, then there's just the race to beat the dragon, right? And everyone jumps into that because, oh, beat the dragon, then I can go get my elytra and shulker boxes, and just hurry to get to the end game. Now, for some people, the end game is when the game starts in some ways, because, all right, now you've got elytra, you can get around easier. You've got shulker boxes, so you can carry materials to what. So if you're grinding out like a lot of sand, for example, you can sweep a desert clean, come back with your 20 some odd shulker boxes of sand, and smelt those up and build your giant glass pyramid or whatever, right? So I get that with the shulkers. There are some projects that are just a lot easier if you've got shulkers to carry around and carry all of your materials from your storage area to wherever it is you want to be building, right? But if you keep doing the same things over and over again, is it a surprise that you're getting bored? Right? And that's And that's a question I see once in a while. It's like, oh, I'm what do I do in Minecraft? I'm bored with Minecraft. What should I build? And I'm kind of wondering, is that the right question to ask? What should I build? What should I do next? Right? Because it that focuses on the goal rather than the journey. Now, there are a number of things like, okay, I've built things because I had a goal. Right? Let me use my last Tinker World video as an example. Right? So streaming through April, was it 23rd, 25th? Those streams, the videos coming out here should be coming out Friday when this drops. But this was a perfect example. I built 2 farms in that video. I built a wool farm, and I built a sugarcane farm. Okay, so the stream on Tuesday, I built the wool farm, and that was one of those. Let's just get it up, knock it out real quick, so I can start getting wool. And that was one of those things. I had a goal because I needed the wool. I needed to be making beds so I can be breeding villagers, because I'm trying to fill up a villager trading hall, because I've got some plans for that, and I need villagers, right? And I need wool. And I had some early ideas for what I wanted to do with a sugarcane farm with a lays, where I was thinking I was going to need to place wool to keep the sound isolated, so that if I had modules next to each other, allays wouldn't get confused. I changed my mind, so I didn't need that. But I had a goal, and I just wanted to knock out the wool farm and not worry about it too much. Okay, cool. That's an example of, hey, this is the goal. Don't worry about getting there. Now, I did take a different approach, but it was a farm I'd built before in my hardcore world. And I actually I'll talk about that world here a little bit in just a minute. But, so I was kind of sort of building the same farm, but it wasn't the typical sheep farm where you just put the sheep in individual cells with a hopper minecart, either embedded in the grass block or sitting on rails below it, sucking all of the wool out of the, when the sheep gets sheared, right? Wasn't that type of farm. And that was interesting. That was an interesting project because, hey, I've built those wool farms a lot, right? Those single cell farms, and that it just gets old. Yeah, you can knock them out in a couple of minutes, but the most time consuming part of it is just getting the sheep into the cells. Okay. But the sugarcane, or it's not sugarcane, it was bamboo actually. And I will forever make that mistake. Because I will just call sugarcane bamboo and bamboo sugarcane just till the cows come home. But there are a zillion bamboo farms. Heck, I've already built a bamboo farm in this world, right? I built it day one because I wanted bamboo as a quick and easy wood source, right? So I didn't have to go chop down a bunch of trees, right? I can just, here's bamboo, let's do this, right? Okay, well, what I'm doing now is I'm setting up the bamboo farm, and it's going to be fuel for a smelter. Yes, I could use kelp and stuff now because we've got the data pack for the crafter, but bamboo is quick and easy, and I actually like that approach a little bit, even if it's not necessarily the most efficient. Okay, but it's a personal preference, doesn't really matter. Now, I could have built the same basic bamboo farm that you see. All right, here's pistons and observers, and the pistons fire often, right? And you can do that in a number of ways, either with observers watching the bamboo blocks or a clock that just fires periodically. There are lots of ways of triggering those pistons to harvest all the bamboo. Well, I've built those before and they work, but they also get to be, boring isn't exactly the right word, but routine maybe. And I didn't want to go with that. I wanted to try something new. So I built a farm that I've never built before. I designed it myself based off some ideas from a video I saw by Exuma on Hermitcraft this here just a month or so back. But I was curious because I've never built a flying, well, I've built a flying machine once for a farm, built it off a tutorial. Okay, it existed. But I've never built one before that I designed, and I've never really used a lathe in a farm. Now, as I said, I had built one the week before using a lathe in a farm, but this again is part of the process of this isn't something I've done. I've been playing Minecraft for a long time, and admittedly, lathes are fairly new, but I pretty well ignored them for the longest time. Partly because they're a pain to get. I don't like to go exploring, that type of thing. But on Tinker World, one of my neighbors already had an lathe, so I was able to dupe her lathe and bring it home, and now I can start the lathe army. But the whole idea was, hey, I'm really, really curious about this. Let's play with it some. And so, yes, the end goal was have bamboo farm. Okay, success. I have much success. I now have a bamboo farm. Yay! But what was more important to me in the idea of I'm having fun with Minecraft is I get to design this new farm. I get to play with features in the game that I've never played with before in any real serious way, right? Yes, I've used a lathe a couple of times, but nothing in a defined sort of way, right? So I'll talk about my hardcore world, okay? Actually, it wasn't even hardcore. It was in Going Green, my last Create Mod series. I had a lathe that I had just tied to a stake out by the ocean, or by a river that was where my base was. And I had planted a bunch of kelp out there because in Create Mod, kelp is life. Okay? You need kelp. You use it for mechanical belts, right? So you end up needing a lot of kelp. Okay? So I brought in a lathe, gave it kelp, and then when I went out to harvest, it would just scoop them up from the top of the river. Because the biggest pain with kelp is, all right, you swim down to the bottom, you shear it off just below or just above the floor, and everything rises to the top. And then you have to swim around and collect all of it. And some of it takes a while to get up there and all that stuff. Or you don't do that, and instead you go break all the kelp, and you let your lathes go out and harvest the kelp and bring it back to you, right? They won't go in the water, but they'll pick it up from the surface. Okay. Cool. And I've watched Pixel Riffs, speaking of the Spawn Chunks podcast. Pixel Riffs talks about when he harvests mangrove. He uses a lathe to pick up all the bits, right? So he'll have a lathe that pick up mangrove leaves and some that pick up propagules and a few. I don't know if he has them picking up the roots as well, probably. And they pick them up and they drop them in hoppers that feed to composters. That way, he gets all the bone meal he needs to then grow more mangrove, and it makes that process a little bit faster of cleaning out all of the, farming mangrove by hand. Okay. So yeah, I've seen lathes be used. I've never really played with them before, so I wanted to take some time and do this. It made the idea, the whole process of having a bamboo farm new and unique, right? And that's really cool. Now, on the last season of Going Hard, it was a hardcore series, okay? Highly recommend it. Again, if you want to see all of these, youtube.com/@musicfreegaming, right? You can check out the Music Free Gaming channel. But I knew the world was temporary, okay? Because it's a hardcore world. I knew at some point I was going to die. Now, I fully figured I would faceplant into a tree. I was afraid of getting an elytra, really. Because I figured, I'm going to faceplant into a tree, and that will be the end of it. Okay? So, I wasn't quite as worried about, I have to hurry and get this done. Okay? Because a lot of the excitement about the game was, can I do this without dying? Right? So, most of what I did, okay, admittedly, was a little timid, but I was a little bit more, I spent more time with the decorative stuff. Okay? Yes, day one, I'm building a villager breeder and an iron farm. That's just what I do. Because, one, the villager breeder is to feed the iron farm. Okay? But I need iron so often, right? I need it for hoppers, if nothing else. I need it for hoppers, I need it for pistons, right? I do redstone, I need iron for that stuff. Plus, it's really convenient for that first round of iron tools and things like that, right? Okay, well, maybe the second round of iron tools. But I also like to get villagers, not necessarily for the enchantments, though I did end up doing that. But I don't like spending time mining for diamonds. I find that boring. Okay, just the grind for diamonds and redstone, really, it just gets boring. I don't enjoy that very much. So I get clerics so I can trade for redstone, and I set up weapon and toolsmiths and stuff so I can get some diamond tools and diamond armor. Yes, I may have to disenchant and re-enchant them to get the enchantments I want. Sometimes they have good ones out of the gate. But whatever it is, at least I've got the tools fairly near to hand, and I don't have to waste the time on diamonds for that. Okay? And because I don't like grinding for diamonds, when I do get them, I can save the diamonds I get for use with smithing templates, right? So whether it's the upgrade template for netherite, whether it's because I feel the need to put armor trims on or something, I've got the diamonds for that type of thing. Okay? But my focus on that world wasn't the end goal. It was, I'm trying to survive as long as I can. Let's enjoy the time that I'm here, right? And I built a full multi-item sorter and got to use it for a little while before I managed to kill myself in a woodland mansion. Okay, I didn't kill myself. I got shot in the back by a pillager because I was dumb. Right. So a vindicator or something that I didn't see came up and axed me in the back because I wasn't wearing armor. I was wearing elytra. 2 hits, man, and I was gone. So yeah, but it was fun working through that because, hey, this is just stuff a lot of stuff I've done before, right? I've built iron farms before. I built a number of farms there. The gold farm was a little scary because, hey, if I'm not careful, I'm going to fall off this, all of this stuff on the ceiling, right? I've got all the magma cubes at the top of the world, and I'm going to splat on the top of the nether roof. And it was, I can't say that was my design for a gold farm, but it was an interesting thing to do, right? And I think that's part of what makes Minecraft fun, or brings the fun back into Minecraft, is to focus not on the goal but on the journey, right? And you see that a little bit with Hermitcraft this season. They started taking things a little bit slower. They didn't just race to get the elytra, kill the dragon. All right, now we've got elytra. We're flying everywhere. We've got shulker boxes. We are instantly end game, and boom, giant structures are showing up overnight. Okay. A lot of the hermits were just no, we're going to take it slower. We are going to do hermit crafty things, but they spent more time focusing on time with each other, starting smaller and building up. Like Smallish Beans, who's one of the new people this season, he's getting this, what will end up being a mega build city built, but he's doing it like one small structure at a time. Yes, they're intricately detailed because he's an amazing builder, but he's not building one giant structure overnight, right? I think this is one of the issues. It's one of the issues I had with Tango Tech last season in Hermitcraft. He did some amazing things. Decked Out 2 was a feat, man. That was fabulous. But he put that Citadel up in like 2 episodes. Admittedly, it was like 3 weeks between them, but because it just took forever. But man, that thing went up overnight. And as someone who's watching Minecraft videos like that, it can get really disheartening. It's like, why can't I get stuff done that fast? Well, it's simple. You're not playing for 8 to 10 or 12 hours a day as your day job, right? It's a little bit easier to go grind for resources, if you've got the time to do it, right? And it's easier to build. No, I was about to say it's easier to build one of these giant buildings. It's not. It's easier to build it in a week if you've got 8 hours a day to do it in. It's not necessarily easier to build it overall, right? And I think that can be disheartening for some players, or some players look at this, it's like, oh, well, they're doing it. Why can't I when I only have 2 or 3 hours of a couple of days a week, right? It's one of the things I have to temper my expectations sometimes. And it's one of the reasons I do like to farm materials, is because I don't get to play that much, right? I have a full-time job. I am doing the content creator thing, right? Podcast, content creator, all this stuff, right? I've got to do all these videos. So most of my recording time to do videos is I do on stream, which means for Tinker World, I'm getting basically 4 hours a week of build time, 4 to 5, something like that. And the same with going solo. My solo series, which I record on Saturdays, I stream for 2 or 3 hours. And then sometimes I'll build more after the stream. So it's sometimes the same thing, about 4 or 5 hours of building for that series as well. But then I've got all the video editing and other stuff going on. Plus I've got a life, right? I've got a wife. My kids have moved out, but I do like spending time with my wife on occasion. I do like to do other things, but heck, I had to spend time the other day. We had to go to Walmart because I had to get a replacement flush handle for my toilet. It's stupid, simple things, but it's an hour out of my day to go to Walmart, buy the thing. Of course, I went with my wife and we spent the time together and talking, and that was great, But gonna go do that, come back, replace the thing. None of it was hard. But hey, that's not time I'm spending playing Minecraft, right? And that's true of most people, right? Most people don't get to spend 8 hours a day or more playing Minecraft, right? So I like to build farms and stuff so that I can take my limited time that I have and focus on the building and let my farms generate resources for me so I don't have to spend that time grinding, which is not one of my favorite things in the world to do. Now, I admit I am a weird Minecrafter. Okay. I don't particularly enjoy building in creative. Okay. Oh, for testing out redstone things and stuff, yeah, it's faster to do that in creative. But I don't particularly like building a big structure in creative and then moving into survival, because I don't like building the thing twice. Honestly, just building in creative gets kind of boring for me. I like the survival aspect of Minecraft. But I don't like grinding. I don't like I don't like exploration. It's one of the reasons I'm so annoyed at the villager nerf experiment, right? Because I don't want to have to go all over the world or transport villagers all over the world just so that I can get a mending book, right? Or a ready source of mending books. I just don't like exploration that much. Now, it's a little bit nicer when I have an elytra, because then, I can fly out there and find things, right? It's one of the reasons I use chunk base, because I just don't want to waste my time running all around the server trying to find a mangrove swamp so I can get mangrove. Okay? I don't enjoy that. Right? And again, that could be a process versus goal thing. My goal is to get mangrove wood. I don't enjoy the process of getting there, because walking through the Minecraft world does not interest me in the slightest. But it's a part of the game. I mean, I understand that. It's one of the things I like the Wandering Trader, because at least I can buy saplings from him. That was a huge win for me in at various points in different series. So yeah, that process versus goal, and that's one of the things I'm focused on Tinker World, but also in going solo. I started that a little bit in going solo, because it's like, hey, let's renovate this ancient city. This could be fun, right? And we'll see what. Again, I'm going to be farming my way through the world, definitely, because that's just what I do. But the whole idea of decorating the city, that's a whole new process, a whole new thing. In Tinker World, I'm trying to experiment with new things, right? Hence the LA and flying machine powered bamboo farm. It's the most efficient thing in the world? Yeah, probably not. But I certainly wanted to give it a shot because it seemed like fun, right? And that's the thing. That's what makes a sandbox game fun, is playing how you like and enjoying however you want to get there. If you want to go and build an 87 by 87 block of TNT and blow it up, okay, cool. Have fun, man. That's good for you. But okay, that's not my jam, and I'm not the type who wants to go walking all over the world to find things. But I do like trying new things. I think someday soon I may be building a witch farm, because I've never built one before. It's like, why the heck not? Right? So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. It's just, as I was thinking about what they were talking about on the spawn chunks, and realizing that, yeah, what makes Minecraft fun is the journey, right? At least, and it's one of the reasons I like building farms, especially designing them myself, is I like that problem solving. It's one of the reasons I like programming. Okay, I like the problem solving, and yes, the end goal is great and it's useful and it's wonderful, but the fun was building the farm. And it's less fun for me pulling out a tutorial and building a farm. Sometimes I do, because it's just I haven't had time to research it, and I'm not. Things like the shulker farms took a lot of technical know-how to optimize it to make shulkers do what you needed them to do. I'm not that deep into the technical stuff. Okay, all props to the SciCraft community. They are awesome and amazing. And seeing people like Ending Credits and ENXL4 and Mango and Methods and Doc M77, right? They're doing some amazing stuff. I don't have that much time to tinker with things. But again, the process for building it is fun, and I like that. And I can tell sometimes when I'm feeling bored with Minecraft, it's because I've stopped focusing on the journey, and I'm focusing on, okay, I've got to get this done, and got to get this done, and got to get this done. It starts to become a to-do list and not a game. So anyway, something to think about. Let me know your thoughts on the journey versus the goal, and efficiency versus the process in Minecraft, and how you like to play and stuff like that. And until next time, be excellent to each other. And this is Music Free Static signing off.